Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Alright, I've got a video here on where to farm in Diablo 2 Resurrected, specifically when you are first getting to Hell, kind of transitioning from Nightmare to Hell, because Hell is a much bigger jump in difficulty than normal to Nightmare, so you may have to stop and do quite a bit of farming before you can really tackle it and progress through it to Act 5. So let's get started here. When you're looking at farming, there's kind of three things you want to look for when you're looking for a good farming spot. Somewhere you can get high quality loot. What if the monster level is high? Some items can only drop from certain areas of the game because they'll only drop from monsters of a certain treasure class, which is based on the monster level. And then also whether or not there's high monster density. And high monster density is kind of best for runes, or just if you're looking for maybe a base item or something to that effect. So starting off, we'll just talk about where you might want to farm in Nightmare. There's really only two spots. That would be Andariel. She actually has the highest chance of dropping a Stone of Jordan ring, and I'm talking about Nightmare Andariel. She has the highest chance of dropping a Stone of Jordan or a Soj. And the only other place really to farm in Nightmare would be Mephisto. And if you are not able to get into Hell Act 1, you could stop and farm at Act 3 Mephisto a little bit in Nightmare until you feel comfortable in Act 1. So once you get into Hell Act 1, the earliest areas to farm, kind of for runes, you just, as always, Countess is a good spot to farm. There's a few areas in Act 1 that are good to farm. Countess for runes, the Pit, level 1 and 2, and the Pit, it's in Tomoe Highlands, so you'll teleport to the Cloister waypoint, and then you can run back out. It's the area right before the Cloister. You can also go from the Black Marsh and go from there. And the main thing with the Pit is it is a level 85 zone, and being a level 85 zone means it can drop the highest loot in the game. The most popular level 85 zone to farm would be the Worldstone Keep in Act 5, but this is going to be significantly easier than that. And so in order to get the best loot from treasure class, the highest treasure class, you need to kill champion and unique enemies to get loot from treasure class 86 and 87, I believe, because the champion packs have +1 level from the area, and the uniques have +2 level. Super unique monsters have +3, but those are kind of like the boss monsters in the game that are always in that location. This includes act bosses and then mini bosses, kind of like Izul and Shink, the Overseer, any of the unique monsters that are just in the same location in every game, those are super unique monsters. So the other thing about the pit is that on level 2 there's a golden chest, and that has a high chance of containing good loot. So that is a very good area to farm in Act 1. Also, the 2 dungeons next to Blood Raven in the Burial Grounds, the Crypt and the Mausoleum. The Crypt is good to farm. It's not level 85, but it is level 83. So you can get good XP here, and you also have a chance of some pretty good loot dropping. Not the best or the highest level in the game, but most of the best gear can drop here. And it also has a golden chest in the dungeon. Right next to the crypt in the burial grounds is the mausoleum, and that is also a level 85 zone, so it can drop the best loot in the game. And it also has a golden chest, and again, it's going to be a lot easier to farm there than the Worldstone Keep. It's going to be a lot less dangerous. There's not really much to mention in Act 2. The Maggot Lair level 3 is a level 85 area. Really, I wouldn't even think about it unless I was a Bone Necromancer, just because Bone Spear is so perfect for killing things in the Maggot Lair. But most people don't really farm anything in Act 2. Act 3, there's a few areas that are level 85, but personally it's not my favorite area to farm. I probably wouldn't farm it. The Travancore, they're okay to farm. It gives you a bunch of champion and unique monsters in a very easily located right next to the waypoint, so you can kill them very quickly, which is good. It makes it worth your time. Mephisto is also very good to farm in Hell. He can drop some of the best loot in the game. Act 4, Chaos Sanctuary and Diablo runs would be the best to farm. You can get, it's also a level 85 area, and so you have a chance at getting best loot in the game there, and there's a high amount of guaranteed champions and uniques from opening the seals. And when we get into Act 5, there's a lot more things to farm, and this is kind of like the end all be all of farming. So in the Frigid Highlands, Shink the Overseer, and there's a unique monster named Eldritch, and Shink always spawns kind of just to the southeast of the waypoint, and the Eldritch monster spawns just to the northwest of it, so you can go through and kill both of them very quickly. They're both super unique enemies, so they're area level +3. So that Shink is level 83 and Eldritch is level 84. So they can both drop almost all the items in the game, just the 2 highest treasure classes they cannot drop items from. But you can get to them so quickly that you can kill them a lot in a short amount of time if you want to target farm them to try and get some gear. The next monster to farm is Pendleskin, and he is just inside the entrance when you go to do the Betrayal of Haragoth quest inside Nilithak's temple. And so if you don't get the waypoint inside the Halls of Pain, the portal will always be open, which will take you right to Pendleskin. And so if you want to just farm Pindleskin, that's the best way to do it. And there's even some specific builds just for farming Pindleskin, like Barbarian with item find from the corpse, because the corpse is also based off of the monster's level. And so Pindleskin is, since he's a super unique level 84 area enemy, he has +3 from that, so he has the highest treasure class in the game of 87. But there's some items, there's some super unique items that he can't drop, like Tyrael's Might, Arachnid Mesh, and Azure Wrath. So he can drop anything, any other item in the game, though. And it's very easy to get to him, and you can farm him very quickly. Very easy to find him and kill him quickly. Nilithak is also a monster you could farm if you wanted to. He's kind of dangerous with his corpse explosion. If you're playing in hardcore, I don't know if I would do it, but it's a pretty difficult area, and with his it's a little quicker to go and kill him than it is to kill Bale, and he has the same loot table as Bale, so some people prefer to farm him. It's just there's some things in that area that make it very dangerous, so in hardcore, you know, just be extra cautious when you go in there, because it is a very dangerous area, and with him having corpse explosion, that can also be really dangerous. And the last but not least area to farm is the Worldstone Keep in Bale. And this is probably the most common area to farm at the end of the game. It's a level 85 area, so it can drop the best loot in the game, and with Bale being a super unique, he too can drop only some of the best items in the game. You also have, you know, from his 5 monster packs that he summons, you have guaranteed uniques and champion packs, so that can be a great area to farm. If you're interested in target farming certain items, different bosses have different loot tables, so I might make a video about that next, but this is just kind of a general guide on where you want to farm when you are getting into hell. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and remember to give them the D.